Welcome everyone to another amazing live stream. The show must go on, and we did it again. We are beating Apple with some 10% faster than their own pseudo microkernel Mach-based macOS. You heard it here first, recurringly over 10% usually faster with my workloads than on Apple 64 ARM silicon. Yay, scary fast. And that is naturally how we steal also their event name and will use it for our to be released tomorrow best T2 release ever. You heard it here first, 23.10, scary fast. We will also add one more build, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we are at 33 already. Our release architecture is also constantly increasing. I have it here already, so I guess we make this 34. I hope they all build, because maybe Musil fails specifically for ARM64. So we better build that because Notech, our T2 Linux developer, informed me, hey, E2FS fails with Musil again. Build for me, but I tested x86-64. You know what? Let's maybe reverse it here slightly. So we build this first, ARM64, and because we built already all the x86 variants there, so x86-64. We have some things to do before we build that all, because the only constant is change and regressions. And one more thing. Do you think Steve Jobs can do one more thing? We do one more thing every day, sometimes even every hour. Yes, there is one more thing. The free desktop, the one more thing is, also zero, why is YouTube whining about the bitrate now? The thing is that on new installations, this doesn't print verbose anymore. That's the best without typo. So this is how it should look like. And do I have a build here? So I noticed, and it is also testing, more testing, mount, bind, div, proc, and oops, this. So LSUSB does not print. Did I already YOLO that? The thing is, so previously the issue is, does T2, the question is, does T2 work on an iMac G3? I would hope so. Do I have a, I don't think, I mean, it should work. I mean, yeah, I tested this in QEMU. I mean, it did work 20 years ago when I had a G3 iBook. I tested it on a Cube and Tiebook, so do I have any other Macs, 32-bit? I don't think so right now, but it should work. So the issue is, historically, there are database files, right? Where is LSPCI? Also, I would say LSUSB is super lame because the names are in the USB descriptors, right? So why they do not print the pretty names here out of, yes, XM controller. You get the idea, I guess. What even is the manufacturer here? So I don't really quite get why that doesn't. I mean, maybe they don't want to open that further, and I mean, yeah, maybe there's additional requests, universal request brokers to the USB device. That could be a reason. However, I would still think this is lame. So historically, USB utils shipped their USB ID database. And LS PCI utils, I'm a little bit, maybe I added symlink here. I need to check what is in our PCI utils IDs. Actually, here is a compressed ID file. Why is that still in there? Or did this run What does that do? Yeah, I thought a new installation, you know what, we could probably best test that. Because it did not work on a fresh installation, right? It's always the usual thing, it doesn't work on a fresh installation, and then you test it and then it magically behaves slightly different. This should probably be fully installed. Let's see. Nothing of firing here, some QEMU KVM. Questions here, do I work on any other FOSS? I mean, I'm contributing, like I just fixed the LVM release, right? I sent a patch like every week or sometimes every day somewhere, right? I also send patches to GCC, Linux kernel, like, hey, I just fixed AMD errata 1485 or so, speculative, illegal speculation on Zen 4, right? AMD errata 1485 or so. It's like, yeah, we do your stuff, best share, like, subscribe. Yeah, so, but otherwise, yeah, I contributed to Chrome, V8, JavaScript engine, GIMP. I had a whole sound manipulation program. Maybe I thought like 20 years ago I did GSMP, like GIMP for sound, general sound manipulation program, right? So that's the one thing I've been done, kinda 18 years ago. Maybe I should resurrect it. Anyway, so surprisingly that works right now, but I would not rule out that I YOLO'd stuff here already on this VM. PCI utils is here also a... No, here's actually an ID file in there. I didn't... That is strange. Anyway, so that is not... I still need to fix it. It behaves a little bit... I thought it general doesn't work, but yeah, USB does not work, and the PCI thing is not ideal. So what is not ideal with it? You may ask. We have hardware data since quite some years. It's the usual stuff, the free desktop, I also don't need to do that really. The free desktop people get together, the free and open source desktop developer people, and they, okay, this every package that needs it has its own database file. Let's have one central place for hardware data, ID stuff. And then, of course, projects are not using it, right? So we now have hardware, HW, hardware data, except that I patched actually USB utils not to install it anymore, because I think there must also have something changed, because I remember 6 months ago, plus minus, I had shared files, right? Maybe we still see that, HW data, that is a new thing, it is modern, shared, do we have here? No, but this USB utils, I'm pretty sure this was here, remove PCI and disable install with a new hardware data. So hey, 6 months, it was relatively spot on. And so I did that in the beginning of this year, and I thought at that day it was working, and now I only realize now it doesn't fully work. Because turns out, I don't know if the hardware data people changed that, but it installs in subdirectory, right? It would have been cool if that would have just worked, but instead of user share, PCI, USB, maybe they moved it recently also, because I thought I had shared files, which maybe I... Also, nothing like this, theoretically I will also need to patch this away. This is what distribution maintainers do each day, right? They work on stuff and then they theoretically, in my opinion, each file on an operating system should be reviewed and have a reason to be there. And only now I realize, reviewing all this stuff, like, why does hardware data blacklist random shit? It's like, F you for, like, I did not ask hardware data to blacklist random frame buffer modules on my precious. It's like you had one job, and that was hardware data and not blacklisting all my... It's like, yeah. Pro tip, review each and every freaking file. So we have this one more complex, not that it's complex, but complex of topic. Let's patch that nonsense away. Do we have update hardware data? Just so this is the usual summary of what we got to do. Data, let's build it and patch it. Ah, darn, this built so fast. Oh wait, I have I think we have keep a no clear source or something. Why is YouTube whining about my bitrate? Good morning, everyone. Sirs. French press you use what type? I'm not using a French press. We are in the office. I have the luxury of Siemens EQ7 507 thing. I don't need this. I would not buy it again. I also I think it's Bialetti, right? At home I only have this is not a paid advertisement. At home I only use this anymore because minimalism, I'm tired of over complex expensive machines, right? So yeah, and I will also not buy a new fully automated coffee maker machine thing. I had to disassemble it recently completely, and you pay some €500 and like, hey, it's a company, we need coffee. But yeah, downsize, keep it minimal, simple, and you need to work less and enjoy life more and stuff. And anyway, you ask, you get an answer. PCI stands for thanks for explaining peripheral component interconnect thing. Can't make this stuff up that this installs a blacklist conf. Disable freaking blacklist. Even if like, who in the world, like, who gives hardware data people the right to install a freaking random blacklist into the system? Like who thought? Comment freaking below, share, like, and subscribe. You learned it here first. I mean, maybe all the reasonable distribution maybe all the reasonable distribution don't ship frame buffer drivers anymore. But like, why? You had one job, and this was not installing blacklists. Actually, it's called disallow list, right? This is also var append conf opt disable blacklist. So let's test that. It better also be working. Data, let's rebuild that. Yeah, there was a blacklist. Let's rebuild that. And then we also have, so what I do with the ID files, I was thinking about that already yesterday. And there are multiple solutions, right? There's, as usual, not one solution. We could patch hardware data to install in user share data dir without hardware data. However, I have to read that other people might hardcode that. So there are always pros and cons to each solution. We could also patch PCI utils and USB utils to use user share hardware data paths. But I think what I will do is I will not patch either of them because it could also randomly break. So because also there might be other programs, think Wireshark or who knows what, other KDE and GNOME things that may have hard-coded user share. And I don't, like, the least thing I want, recurring theme, right? We want to be better than Apple, we want to be better than Microsoft, and we for sure want to be better than Oracle's broken Linux. And so that everything just freaking works and I spend the least time patching random nonsense, I will leave those as they are, except I will disable, apparently PCI util still installed some compressed PCI ID. I will disable that too. And then I will create symlinks simply, so that with the symlinking the PCI and USB IDs to the hardware data, we get the best of all worlds. In my opinion, I was seriously, like, while I was doing some C-level executive stuff of controlling in Texas and shit, I was like, half of my brain was still working on stuff. I was like, doing it this way, that way. Yeah, okay, you know, let's do it that way. That probably should make sure that everything works. So x86 to var adm flists of hardware data. That is not installing a blacklist anymore. Hallelujah. Hardware data. Because we want our precious kernel drivers not blacklisted. Disable or fixed data to not install its own you can't make this shit up. I wish it were a joke, but 25 years later, such low quality, ridiculously low standard stuff, like, and that's why we don't have, that's why we can't have nice things, right? Because the desktop people do so strange stuff that 20 years later, we still don't have desktop Linux. So then we want PCI utils. I might still, so that might not be the very last thing, because we usually have a couple of more last things than Steve Jobs, or one more thing than Steve Jobs. I might fix a couple of other things, but I will start the build now because I want T2 for marketing and scary Halloween reasons released tomorrow. And my Ryzen and potentially Epic remote server need some 24-ish hours to build 34, to cross-compile 34 CPU architecture and C and compiler combinations. So I need to get this build going, which is why I rush this here quickly in the beginning of the workday here at Exacode. This work, graciously still sponsored by my company, don't delay, contract embedded exact Linux solutions today. So PCI, shameless self-promotion here, PCI utils. Let's see what we disabled here already. I thought I had something disabled, compile. It is always possible that I patched something, because once I lost some patches because I reverted the wrong directory. Usual pro things. And PCI utils, let's see what we got here. Does it not have configure? Actually, my own debugging stuff should tell me what was run. I didn't have error log. Interesting. Actually, I could improve my sources there then. So, dist clean, what did we even got here? Apparently only makefile. Good old stuff is just makefile for PC to listen. Okay. PCI IDs and so setlib, support for compressed, yes, no, default detect. Theoretically, we could then disable, like, because previously we had this compressed, like it is here by default, but we don't really need this, right? On modern systems, like if you care about space, then just use a compressed file system like BetterFS with compression enabled. It even results in a slightly smaller tarball if we compress textual stuff once. So there is even PCI utils, or do we have here, no? PCI IDs, all. So is that, this is also a, this is not. So we also don't need to install this update thing that anyway was never a good thing. Theoretically, we would never have had to ship it because you don't want, you want to update your hardware data, root system stuff via your distribution mechanisms and not randomly with some random shell scripts. So we also don't want to install that. So update PCI, so the SADs, there's some prefixes and stuff. So we don't, oops, wrong match. So we don't want that. IDS dear, PCI IDs dear. So basically we don't want that in either case. Would that be compressed PCI IDs? Would say no? Okay, doesn't matter the most. So here, I mean, we could also delete that. Maybe we should just delete that because we need to delete this line anyway. Then it's like, let's delete it. Did I comment any other shared stuff? I hope that is all. So that is no update PCI IDs, which we don't need, which makes no sense, which not comes from hardware data. And so no IDs patch, or either no ideas or sometimes we name this we could name this shared with hardware data, but nah, it's probably fine. Delete it again. PCI utils. Welcome everyone. Docbook X doesn't download. Okay, we need to check patches welcome. I will put it on my mental to do. Then let's double check the installed files. PCI utils. That has no update, no IDs. Amazing. PCI utils. We use nowadays the data supplied IDs. Maybe I should. I thought I had checked that. Maybe I should have. You know what? We will see that in a second. So PCI utils. What build priority does it have? 126. 126, 150, probably should be able to build this hopefully earlier. And then PCI utils, static stuff, post make. What do we have here? We somehow copy that to PCI. That is interesting. Oh, wonderful. Let's make this a second hook in case we delete this, not that we accidentally delete that. Post make 5 doesn't really matter. ln symbolic force verbose only that we log it into our log file. Hardware data. What do we freaking do here? Hardware data PCI IDs. So link that to root data dir. You know what? Let's do that first. Just for sorting, because this looks a little bit near backward compatibility stuff that maybe delete. And then we need the same, so that should data probably should be fine like that, and we need the same for USB utils. Do we have a conf? No. Hello. Best to use VI. If we want to edit that, and the same for USB. So then the compatibility symlinks are still owned by those packages. That even works if you in-system upgrade. It's also last but least one consideration for all the hundreds, thousands, if not millions of existing Rock Linux and T2 installations out there. for our increasingly existing user base. And that also, like, if you insist on rolling release update from sources, that this still works. So that probably should be fine. Let's test that for USB utils. And hello, Danny. I probably will do, as I mentioned some 20 minutes ago, I will probably do one or another thing still off camera, but that's basically it. User share, yeah, USB ID, PCI IDs, and then if we bind mount this stuff, we might not need all, but doesn't hurt. LS USB, let's hope it's the right format, and LS PCI, that probably looks fine. That should now come from strace. Open at or so. Open at 64. Alright, this is obviously there. Wait, it has root PCID's cache. Are you freaking kidding me? It even tries to freaking cache this, or what? Can't mix this up. Okay, pending 2023, we need to cache this also pending. Anyway, so yeah, that appears to work. And now my AMD GPU, yay, my AMD GPU is crashing. Amazing achievement. I actually the other day updated the Steam Deck dock that I'm live streaming from, and after some, initially I thought like, dude, that worse, because it was like my yeah, thanks AMD and Valve for this amazing 1 year later still every 11 days maybe crashing AMD GPU stuff. Nah, maybe the Steam Deck is not made for 24/7 thin client usage. Anyway, so we had that tested. We need to commit this. So PCI utils patched PCI utils. I don't see that. Sorry. PCI utils to not install its own PCI. What was the naming even? That? I don't know what the other 2034 Linux distributions are doing. It is pointless for me to review. It literally takes me longer to dissect other Linux distributions to see what the heck they are doing. I just want our stuff polished and perfect and stuff, so I think this is, I mean, more perfect maybe would be not to have the symlink. However, given backward compatibility and stuff, maybe this is more perfect. In an ideal world, I would not have that, but we're not creating this from scratch. We are basing this on over 25 years of legacy, so it is what it is. Fixed USB utils to use data USB IDs. Likewise, then in this machine I have 96 gigs of memory, so set RAM control. What was the find? What was the syntax? I always forget. -s. Oh, this was so simple. Let's compress maybe 40 or 32 gigs. That probably should be mostly enough to build all those architectures. Yeah. Clean all builds. Operation permitted. What the heck? Was there something back mounted? Don't tell me I deleted all the stuff now. Well, that was an amazing achievement. Yeah, usually we had. Actually, I precisely used that for that reason. Apparently, we didn't have enough safeguards for that in place. Oops. I mean, we probably can restore that, can't we? Maybe not fully. Yeah, thankfully I don't need. Yeah, pro tip, don't ARM-RF. What could possibly go wrong? So, then that should mostly be it. I will do 2 more things later. I believe that should be fixed, but probably double check before release that it's actually freaking working. Did I fully do that? I believe I did. Check grab orbals. Okay, we should do that. Whatever. Yes, we have done that. Amazing. Make power PC PowerBook battery. Okay, another day. Unit test. C compiler select. Yeah, another day. Bootstrap previous version. Re-enable T2 source mirror. I think this qualifies. I mean, yeah. Still nightly. Rolling release building correct F-lock usage. Clang wrapper. Only input. Okay, another day. Did I remove user games already? User games. Apparently not hack. etc profile. This files. Let's do that in this cleaner tree. Nothing like removing. It's like, yeah, 2023, it's time. People whine about my user X11 and opt stuff, but nah, user games actually. I was surprised. I think that even was still a thing on. I recently tested some other Linux distribution. Was it Ubuntu? Something I tested for some project. And I believe even that Linux, what I tested, I remember I tested Clear Linux, but I'm not sure if Clear Linux had this. But I believe I thought some, I'm not sure if it was the latest Ubuntu, but some Ubuntu, maybe 2 years old, still had user games, which I find a little bit funny. Never have enough builds. Let's remove the downloads only for a second. We can better grab user games. Oops. I think I even want to fully remove that here even. Pin steer user share scores. This is really so old-fashioned Unix like. because then we also have one less. Why do I do this? Because I don't want to have random nonsense in my paths and stuff, for example. It's not even the most runtime, but it also simply looks, I mean, I'm already annoyed with all the opt things, to be honest. Like if you stress stuff and you have like stuff is testing files and executing stuff all over. Like I don't need my strace stuff even further clobbered. Let's remove all this game shenanigans here. That is so lost, so vintage. Opt bin, home bin. It's probably fine. 188. Path, user local s bin, user local bin, user s bin, bin, bin. Bin, S-Bin, I mean, theoretically we use, we could use other word expansion here. Yeah. It's probably fine. Like if you need user games, then you can patch T2, but there's a limit of. I mean, I'm not supporting the biggest historic garbage just for nonsense reasons. Like there's literally no reason. Why is CSH is terrible? There's literally no reason why this should not be in bin here. This is just hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I do not do everything as Rubik's Conf. What is going on here? SED user games. Are here even SED user games to user bin, which will theoretically 15? It's probably, we don't need Berry Poppy Linux comments in here. Theoretically this should do bin dear, but I'm not doing everything today. So nethack Rubik says it uses this is not someone else patches welcome. That's probably fine. So we commit. That looks pretty. That is why I did this in this clean dir here, so that I can just commit the whole tree there. It's probably remove historic. With games was it? Games path and support. Yeah. It's probably fine. Again, T2 is just a build system, so not just another list distribution. If you want that for reasons, then feel free to patch that back in. So remove user games, yay, another one more thing done. And Power PC, I thought I had done that, but I better double check. What else do we have there? Logworks, GCC LTO. Alright, there's maybe something more to fix. That is for another day. Proof data set run by default. So yeah, these two things I will probably like. Was this the last word here? Of course not. I will probably do set run by default and P3. Actually, I had done that already mostly. I SVN reverted one tree recently wrongly, and yeah, I did run tmark. How did it happen to me? I run tmux and tmux in a QEMU, and I was in the wrong tmux. I thought I was in my throwaway VM, and then I SVN reverted, stuff like that. Mac WinFarm, did I add this? MK init rd wind farm, I'm not sure. Okay, let's leave it in there. Other trigger build first was running a cargo for good support non-compressed downloads and maybe even so we did that, support non-recompressed downloads, or maybe, so yeah, basically we've done that, we've been there, we've done that, and yeah, I worked on that, but I will still need to make it upstream, need to further refine it. Make Linux kernel only primary change, installer second creation. Like, how many freaking are only 55? Yeah, I guess I read that in what we probably need sooner than later is a T2 background, right? Okay, you want to see the build, so probably T2 background sometime soon. So then let's clean, let's recreate my symlink here before I forget it. Oops, didn't have a, what? No, I don't have PDS, fun stuff. And then, yeah, let's build it. Internal build all of it. Maybe parallel auto for a change. Usually I parallel 10 only to have this more staged. Okay, fine. I need to, let's. Don't tell me. No. Let's kexec. Was this a new enough? Okay, let's shut down. Or because I deleted my dev files, this is why. Let's try to resurrect it. Questions there. Do I have any idea about framework laptops? I didn't personally purchase them. I would, like, theoretically, I would have loved to have one. The reason is why I haven't, because I do not want, like, theoretically I would want to downsize a little bit and be a little bit more minimalist, which my hardware collection is a little bit like half the life minimalistic, except my hardware collection is like somehow, yeah. But for work, unfortunately, as you don't share like love and Patreon enough, we still need to work on commercial, mostly Mac software, because that actually sells the best. So for work, I need to have an Apple Silicon laptop. Topic of this video, right? I've only, even then, I didn't buy a MacBook for nearly 7 years. So the last one was a Retina MacBook Pro because I hated all the T2 and touch bar and stuff. And so with Apple Silicon, I had to have one. So my company got myself an M1 Max, which certainly helps with Linux, Linux compatibility development and ARM64 testing. And I do not want to waste my money. I don't want to waste resources here from environmental resources. So I would rather use this M1 Max laptop for like 7 years. So I would, like, if they send a review unit, maybe I know a subscriber ordered one, or a T2 developer ordered one. I mean, in general, I love the idea because I voted with my wallet. I didn't buy Apple stuff, which historically I brought some Apple stuff because I also liked the hardware quality, like when they were PowerPC, or like PowerPC, more risk. Did I have this loose encrypted? Probably had. Maybe I didn't. didn't boot for so many days that I don't even remember what I had set up here. Maybe for, usually I have this stuff encrypted, maybe for performance. More performance. So yeah, that is why you probably want to like subscribe, that hardware companies send me more stuff for review. In general, I like the idea. I know that from what I read in the community that the AMD SKUs had some early hardware design issues. There also was, I believe, there was this controversy. I mean, sure, it's a young and startup company. They had, even for the Intel SKUs, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I remember, there were some battery discharge or whatever. There was something of overly discharging, standby time or whatever, maybe even some hardware mods one could do. The AMD stuff is, as far as I know, officially delayed, which I appreciate. Rather delay and get stuff working than shipping some half-baked stuff that is buggy and user sits there with battery drain and overheating and whatnot. In general, I love the idea. Not sure if there's USB-C based plugins, but it's probably the best thing you can do with modern technology. It's probably a little bit space wasting of this USB based bricks there, but probably better than nothing. Although, I mean, then you could also, like, honestly, you could kind of thought that just have USB dongles then, right? But anyway, but yeah, the serviceability, I totally love, supports the idea. I believe I nearly wanted to order one, but maybe the form factor was not the most. But to be the thing is, I also simply cannot buy everything, right? I brought a Steam Deck because I wanted to have some more portable and gaming-like thing. And doubling, I said this before, I'm streaming from the maxed out Steam Deck. And theoretically, so I use this as my workstation, right? As a thin client. And so pro tip, like, do not buy everything, right? Sure, the Steam Deck performance is like way off this framework things, but it's also like size down, minimalize. You can enjoy life more, work less, use less of our planet's resources, and so on, and so forth. So if you already have a Steam Deck for gaming or stuff, then use it for work, right? Dual booted, external USB, like I literally have it use external USB booted, right? That's fine. Yeah, so this 13, I don't choose 13. What was the issue with? Was there an issue? Where's here? DIY Horizon. Do they not have more pictures? Why do they not have a picture of the keyboard on there? Or maybe there. Yeah, I mean, those dongles, of course, a little bit space wasting here, right? So that's not the most space efficient thing, but it probably doesn't matter the most. Yeah, if you have one, leave in the comments below. Otherwise, I like the look and so on. I mean, the one thing cooler, I mean, it looks a little bit MacBookish, right? I mean, maybe having them look more ThinkPad would have been even cooler. It would have also been amazing if IBM nor Lenovo made a modular self-service ThinkPad thing, right? So that's also like big corporations, right? So slow and old-fashioned that they allow, like, all those small and successful startups only exist because the big old mega corporations are so big, old, slow-moving and old-fashioned and stuff, right? Yeah, I think you can even swap. Can you swap Intel to AMD PCB? Other things. I also love that they have some conversion, like someone, not sure if they or there is some conversion kit of if you upgrade your framework laptop, you can put the old PCB in some external NUC kind of thing, so that you have a micro server or so, or mini server. That's certainly pretty cool. Also, I read there are, with at least the AMD, I believe it was AMD SKU, right? There were some early Linux compatibility issues, right? I read they have a BIOS update, I believe that was the Ryzen version, so that that would work. Probably we should do better PR and shamelessly self-promote our stuff of posting to the, like, why are other Linux distributions so successful? They have shameless self-promoters posting all over the internet, right? It's like, hey, it supports, works great, it's amazing. Download it for free here and there. So yeah, if you have any other thoughts, leave in the comments below. We have our stuff building. So that is for the video. I hope in less than 48 hours we have all builds for you. I will later do setramfs for all systems, because in general that, I mean, you can always modify it, right? But in the meantime, like whether it's a Steam Deck or a Tybook or the PS3, so we will have PS3 VRAM swap and in general additionally SATRAM swap by default. I had this prepared and deleted it. I will redo it later today. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. Scary fast, you've seen this before, absolutely outstanding performance, and now also Spark is even higher optimized now that we found out that the random segmentation faults were AMD errata, illegal SMT thread sibling, speculative execution, AMD errata 1485 or so. Of course I will need to check that it really works, but I had pre-tested that in general. Did I change that already? Spark 64, I previously, yeah, smarter. I wanted to do this smart test, to be honest. Need to check if that, all right, maybe it was LTO. So yeah, another day we need to check Spark LTO. So let's do smart test here today, and then we test, rinse and repeat. Janice chimes in, was the CMOS battery that drained on frameworks? Thanks for the correction. I remembered there was something with the battery. I was thinking what precisely was it. It wasn't the Maya, but yeah, thank you. That sounds about right. Now that you say this, doubt have been waiting for the Snapdragon Elite. Waiting for the Snapdragon X Elite. So this X Elite you will probably be for what? For Linux or for but not for the framework, right? That is, you mean in general, like for some Microsoft Surface thing or so? You will probably be disappointed. I also wonder if there ever will be graphics support, right? There's, I mean, not only if the Snapdragon, the Apple Silicon, probably faster, like, yeah, giving Apple money and stuff. I also wonder if there ever will be proper graphics support, right? So that is Microsoft Surface SQ Linux. What is the what GPU do we have? Because I wonder, I mean, you can boot Linux on this, but I wonder then, you said Snapdragon, right? What precise GPU was that one? Do they always use Adreno? Yeah, but that is the thing, right? Being able to boot stuff and then like does all the periphery, do all the drivers work and so on. The more exotic, the more less mainstream, the more exotic stuff you choose, the less likely it works fully or at all or buggy. I mean, even, hey, I have a Steam Deck and the bloody AMD GPU crashes every few days. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, maybe Patreon, YouTube sponsorship, YouTube membership, super things. Have a good day or night, and I hope to see you soon for the most scary fast release of T2 Linux ever.